So, you clicked on this video. You really think you have what it takes to be a Dynamo roller main? You think that just anyone can become a heavyweight cod among cephalopods? Then you better be ready to get learnt real good. In this video, I'll show you how to wield the Dynamo roller with all its kits, the best abilities, and some hot tips on how to kick salmonid tail. Getting into the swing of things. The Dynamo roller is the overweight cousin of the Splat roller. Just kidding. Sheldon decided to incorporate some kind of behemoth motor into a roller, making it weigh as much as a refrigerator, but also greatly increasing its power. Thanks to the Dynamo's great girth, it has the longest range and greatest turf coverage of any roller in the game. The horizontal swing covers a large patch of turf and instantly splats enemies from a considerable distance away. If you jump and swing mid-air, you perform a vertical swing, which takes a bit longer to complete, covers a solid line of turf, can one-hit opponents from much further away, and leaves ink directly under your feet. Finicky flick functionalities. When climbing a wall, you can pop out and perform a horizontal swing by simply pressing the right trigger. Or you can activate a vertical swing by jumping out of the wall first. If you press the right trigger while in an ink rail, you will exit and perform a vertical swing. Obviously, this also happens if you jump out of the rail first. To pop out with a horizontal swing, all you have to do is let go of the left trigger just before you press the right. Jumping from a ledge and swinging midair activates the vertical swing.
As expected!
However, if you simply walk off the ledge and swing midair, you get a horizontal swing. Don't worry though, it gets even weirder. If you walk off a ledge, then quickly press B and right trigger after falling for a bit, you'll perform a vertical flick in spite of not actually jumping.
That just makes no sense.
This is how we roll. If you hold the right trigger when performing either kind of swing, you enter courtesy clerk mode. Just kidding, it's roller mode. While in this state, you can use the control stick to drive the roller around like a crusty shopping cart or just a roller, except that it leaves an extra wide trail of ink behind it. Assuming you're rolling at full speed, but seriously, why wouldn't you be? And will instantly crush any opponent it touches. It can also crush torpedoes.
Huh, neat.
When rolling with the Dynamo roller, you might notice that it gradually builds up speed. So do all the other rollers, but we're not talking about them, are we? But is still really slow. Although you'll typically have an easier time inking turf by swinging and flinging, there are also times when it's way more chill to just roll along, like at the beginning of a turf war match. Also, you will recover ink when you stand still. This can prove surprisingly useful, as you'll see later. A great way to make a quick path for yourself is to use the vertical swing. You can also ink and climb walls using this method, although some shorter walls can be inked by rolling up against them, or even be hurdled by ramming and hopping over them. Battlefield Basics. When you want a sip of coffee, you can simply grab your mug and drink. No planning or waiting necessary. However, when you want to take a vacation from your job, you need to plan it out well in advance on your calendar. Likewise, in Splatoon 2, most weapons can quickly cover turf to get comfortable and continue battling without missing a beat.
Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
For the Dynamo roller, however, you will need to set aside the weekend to give yourself enough time to complete a full swing. With no quick way to cover turf, it's easy to get trapped in your opponent's ink. Hiding behind walls and jumping out is a practical way to stay safe and buy yourself extra time, but you will still need to make sure that enemies are not too close. Anticipate their approach and prepare a swing well in advance. Otherwise, you may have to spin around at the last moment after you've already started a swing, or you will simply be splatted before your swing completes. In close quarter situations, it's sometimes easiest just to finish off opponents by rolling over them. Damage details. Upon a direct hit from either the vertical or horizontal flick, the Dynamo roller deals 180 damage. This can be increased up to a maximum of 207 damage using main power up.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Crushing enemies deals between 125 and 143.7 damage, depending on how much main power-up is equipped. When attacking from further away, or when hitting indirectly, you will deal less damage. At minimum, you deal about 35 damage with no main power-up and about 42.8 damage with max main power-up. It's a little bit iffy. Training exercises, what to practice. Speaking of aiming, the Dynamo roller doesn't have a normal reticle. Instead, like the other rollers, it has weird animated arrow lines, which show the overall trajectory of the ink you fling. Notice how these arrows change depending on which type of swing you're about to activate. Pay attention to exactly where those arrows are going. Unless they're intersected with your opponent's face, your flick won't be connecting with its intended target. With the horizontal flick, you can easily deal damage to opponents, even when you basically miss. But it's not going to do much unless you have good accuracy. The vertical flick is also most potent when aimed directly at your enemy. In general, be direct with your swings, and don't bother flinging above or to the side of what you actually want to hit.
It's no use prevaricating about the bush.
The awesomest abilities. Now, when it comes to the Dynamo roller, Ink Saver Main and Thermal Ink are the two big daddies of the gear abilities.
Double dare defense!
You might also consider Ink Saver Sub, since it complements Ink Saver Main fairly well. The fact though is that you're gonna be running out of ink pretty quick, especially when you first start using this weapon. Thermal Ink is very effective with the Dynamo roller because even the slightest splatter of ink will track enemies. With such a slow and long-ranged weapon, this is a priceless advantage to have. It means that those weak hits will count for something, and that you can gain the upper hand from even farther away. And let's not forget that your Thermal Ink ability will keep tracking your enemies even after you get splatted and respawn. It only stops working when the enemy in question is splatted. Time to talk about the kits. The classic Dynamo roller, Dense Defense. The regular Dynamo roller comes with Ink Mines and Stingray. That means you don't have anything to throw and pressure enemies with, so you'll need to be extra strategic. Plant Ink Mines to defend against enemies who wish to flank you and get up close. Also place mines ahead of where enemies are going to carry the Rainmaker, on the splat zone, or wherever you can easily ambush someone. Fun fact, it's actually faster to place an ink mine than it is to flick ink, so your sub-weapon might be your best option if you need to heal quickly. The Stingray can not only hit enemies from very far away, but it also reveals their location, assuming they're not submerged, and also assuming that you're not firing the weapon. Combine this with your ink mines and thermal ink, and you can really start to keep tabs on your foes. The Golden Dynamo Roller, Blast of Brute Force. Throwing a splat bomb at an enemy is usually like trying to swat at a fly with your bare hand. You can get them to move, but that's about it. A bomb in close tandem with a well-aimed swing, however, can be lethal. That's why the only viable way to use the Golden Boy is to equip the following: 1/2 Ink Saver Main and 1/2 Ink Saver Sub, and yes, fill every slot that you can. This way you can swing up to 9 times instead of 5, or throw a bomb and then immediately swing 4 times instead of once. You can throw a splat bomb right before using ink armor with no real cost, since your special instantly refills your ink tank. You can even use this to throw 2 bombs in a row. With enough Ink Saver Sub, you can double this to 4. Most likely though, you will not want to use that much Ink Saver Sub, and if you do, it will be most useful to throw 2 splat bombs and then use your ink armor to refill your ink so that you can quickly follow up with a swing from your roller. If you get good at aiming your splat bombs, which you should by the way, you can use them to catch players who are super jumping. It's quicker and stealthier than flicking at them with your overweight roller. The Kenza Dynamo Roller, the weapon of choice for every battlefield diva. The Kenza Dynamo Roller is equipped with sprinklers and Booyah Bomb. When it comes to the sprinkler, rule number 1 is just use it wherever. That said, it can serve as a pretty sweet little diversion. Depending on where you place it, you can count on enemies becoming distracted by your sprinkler, which will give you the chance to surprise them or at least give them less time to react. Otherwise, your sprinkler is just great for inking far-off turf or holding down some nearby turf while you do other things. Your sprinkler can also be placed near the Rainmaker bubble. If the bubble grows a bit, the sprinkler will be inside of it, causing every single shot to hit, which will deal tons of damage. The Booyah Bomb is a great way to clear a room, but keep in mind that you're not totally invincible while using it. Consider throwing it near the Rainmaker, on the Splat Zone, or in a passageway you want to block. Let's be honest though, the Booyah Bomb is really just a way to show off. Salmon Run strategies. In Salmon Run, the Dynamo Roller gives you pretty good range, but is quite slow and has poor mobility. This makes it difficult to defeat flyfish, and it's hopeless at defeating stingers. You're better off at yelling at your teammates to come and get the stingers. You'll be able to take down steel eels by flicking at them, or just rolling into them, or both. Steelheads can most easily be vertical flicked, and horizontal flicks will work against scrappers. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned the fact that you can simply roll over all regular salmonid, including the big boys, called Quahawks. This makes it great at crowd control during the Goldie Seeking event. But that's not all. Plow head on into the Goldie, and golden eggs will spray everywhere.
That's a lot of damage.
The other place where the Dynamo Roller really shines is during the Glowflies event. Remember that quirk that I mentioned earlier? The fact that you regenerate ink if you stand still while in roller mode. Well, this allows you to instantly crush waves of salmonid and quickly refill your ink without having to put away your roller. Not only that, but you can collect golden eggs and place them in the basket while still holding out your roller.
That's a lot of damage!
Well, this is the end of the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed and that you found it helpful. And let me know what you want to see next. And I may or may not listen. Haha.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm just kidding. I hate that. I don't know about you, but I hate that. And so you guys can do whatever you want. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this entertaining and, well, actually helpful as a tutorial.